I still remember the exact second my heart cracked open, like glass shattering in slow motion, shards embedding everywhere, impossible to pull out without bleeding more. That was the moment my own mother looked at my little boy and told him, in front of a room full of people, that he wasn't part of the real family. My name is Caleb. I'm 42, a real estate lawyer who spends his days buried in contracts and closing statements. I have one son, Elias, 12 years old, quiet, the kind of kid who notices when you're tired and brings you a glass of water without being asked. And for years, I let my family treat him like an afterthought, because I thought love meant fixing things with money. But that day, at my sister Vanessa's baby shower, everything I'd been swallowing finally came clawing its way up my throat. It was one of those rented banquet halls with gaudy chandeliers that flicker too bright and carpet that smells faintly of old punch. Pink and gold balloons bobbed against the ceiling like they were trying to escape. A dessert table spelled out, "Baby girl" in glittery letters. All the cousins had white gift bags waiting at their seats, custom t-shirts, candy, little trinkets that screamed, "You belong here." Every cousin except Elias. He sat there clutching the tiny blanket he'd spent weeks crocheting with our elderly neighbor, Mrs. Alvarez. His fingers kept smoothing the soft yarn, like if he held it tight enough, someone would notice how much love went into every stitch. He kept glancing around, lifting the centerpiece, checking under his plate, thinking maybe his bag had just been misplaced. "Grandma," his voice was so small it barely cut through the music. "Did mine get moved somewhere?" My mother, Evelyn, didn't even look at him. She smiled that tight, polished smile and said, "Oh, honey, those bags are just for the real cousin crew. We didn't think you'd be around as much once the baby arrives." The words landed like a slap, but the room didn't stop. People kept chatting. Someone laughed. Elias just folded it on himself, shoulders dropping, eyes fixed on the table. He whispered, "Okay," and pulled the blanket into his lap like a shield. I should have grabbed his hand and walked out right then. Instead, I forced a smile and handed Vanessa my gift, a simple envelope with a $50 gift card and a small box of onesies. Normal, thoughtful, the kind of thing you bring when you're not trying to buy love. Vanessa opened the envelope. Her eyebrows pinched. Confusion, then irritation. That's when my mother decided it was showtime. She stood, tapped her plastic flute with a spoon, and the room hushed. She held up the invitation like evidence in court. "When we sent these out," she announced, voice syrupy sweet, "we added a little note. Gifts 5,000 minimum. Some families understand what it means to step up for a new life." She waved my envelope like it was trash. And some people just don't value family the way they should. Dead silence. A few gasps. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Elias heard every word. His ears went scarlet. He looked at me, confused, ashamed, like he was trying to figure out what he'd done wrong this time. I smiled. God, I smiled so hard my face hurt. Because if I opened my mouth right then, I would have screamed. Instead, I slipped my hand into my jacket pocket, opened my banking app, and stared at the scheduled transfer glowing on the screen. $420,000. Down payment on the perfect 5-bedroom house my parents and Vanessa had been calling the family forever home. Main floor suite for mom and dad as they aged. Huge yard. Room for Vanessa, her husband Marcus, and the new baby whenever they needed it. Title in my name, life estate for them, clean, protected, generous. I'd been saving for 6 years. Bonuses. Skipping vacations. Saying no to everything so I could say yes to them. My thumb hovered over cancel transfer. I pressed it. Confirmation popped up. I hit yes. Then I called the escrow officer, Lauren, and told her to kill the deal. Inspection contingency still in play. My right to walk. Clean. She hesitated. "Your family's going to find out the second I notify the sellers." "That's the point," I said. I hung up and walked back into the hall. 20 minutes later, while Vanessa was opening yet another designer diaper bag, her phone rang. The special ringtone she used for important people. She answered, cheerful at first. Then her face drained of color. "What do you mean the buyer withdrew?" Her voice cracked. "That's my brother's money. That house is for my parents. For all of us." Every head turned. She spun toward me, eyes wild. "Caleb, tell me you didn't." I stood slowly. I did. My mother shot up. That was our future. You promised. I promised a family that treated my son like he belonged. I said, voice steady for the first time in years. Today you showed me, again, that you want my wallet, but you don't want him. I looked at Elias. He was already standing, blanket clutched to his chest. Let's go, bud. As we walked out, my mother shouted after us, you're destroying everything over a stupid gift bag. I didn't turn around. No, I called back. I'm finally protecting the only family that matters. The drive home was quiet first. Elias stared out the window. Dad, he asked eventually, are they mad at me? My hands tightened on the wheel. No, Eli. They're mad at themselves. And that's not your job to carry. He nodded slowly. I like that big house. The porch swing looked nice. I swallowed hard. You know what? Our porch is pretty great too. We've got that old glider, and the stars come out clear over the backyard. He leaned his head against the window. Yeah, and it's ours. That night, after he fell asleep, I sat on the edge of his bed and watched him breathe. The crochet blanket was folded neatly on his dresser, still waiting for a baby who might never get it. My phone kept buzzing. Text from Mom. Asterisk, you embarrassed us. You hurt your pregnant sister. You're punishing an innocent child. Asterisk. From Vanessa. How could you weaponize a house? From Dad. A man keeps his word. I typed one message to the family group chat and hit send. I kept my word for years. Today I'm keeping it to my son. Until you can look Elias in the eye and apologize, truly apologize for making him feel less, don't contact us. We're done funding a family that doesn't include him. Then I muted the thread, blocked the numbers that mattered most. It's been weeks now. They've tried everything, showing up at my office, leaving voicemails, even getting relatives to call on their behalf. But every time I look at Elias, laughing with Mrs. Alvarez over a new crochet pattern, or reading on our little porch with the neighbor's dog resting its head on his knee, I know I made the right choice. Money can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy a grandmother's love for a little boy who just wanted a gift bag with his name on it. So tell me, if this happened to you, if your own family drew that line between your child and their money, would you have kept quiet and kept paying, or would you finally walk away? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you've ever had to choose between toxic family and protecting your kid, I see you. You're not alone. Thanks for watching. Keep supporting. Do subscribe for more stories.